Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kenalkan, nama saya Reinaldo Prasetyo dari Prodi Manajemen. NIM saya 28920500047. Mata kuliah yang akan saya jelaskan yaitu Bahasa Inggris dengan tujuan UTS, memenuhi nilai UTS. Dengan dosen pengampu Mr. Karyadi, MM. Nah, oke. Sini ada teks naratif tentang the origin of Surabaya. Saya baca dulu ya. Once upon a time in the northern part of East Java, there lived a scary giant crocodile. He was the rule of the river and the predator, who was feared by all the animals in the forest near the river. The name the crocodile was Baya. He was very good at hunting, so all of the animals in the jungle were afraid of him. Baya lived in a river in the sea. There lived a wild shark named Sura. He ruled the sea, and very fish were scared of him. However, Sura felt bored because he ate fish every day. He was curious about the hungry, so he swam silently to the edge and jumped out to catch the deer. Sura was happy to get such delicious food. After eating the deer, Sura became addicted. The next day he hunted back on the river and got a lot of food. After a couple of days, Baya became suspicious because it was harder and harder for him to find prey. He started investigating what was happening. What was happening? When? How? Dare you snatch my prey? Sura was not afraid of Baya. He challenged Baya of the fight. I can look for food anywhere I want. It's not just your territory here. All animals are free to look for food here. Finally, a fight could not be avoided, and the fight I began. Because both of them were strong, the fight was very long. For days, all of the animals in the forest were disturbed by the fight. They couldn't sleep. Finally, the two wild animals were exhausted. No one won and no one lost, because both themselves were equally strong. Sura, we better end this fight. I'm too tired. So I Baya. Okay, let's end this battle. Sura, first we needed to limit our hunting area. The river is the limit. Don't you break the fine or you will feel the consequence. Okay, Baya, I accept this agreement. Sura finally left the river and returned to the sea. For the months, the forest calmed down. Here, there were no fight between Sura and Baya, but Sura felt uneasy. He longed to eat their meat like before. There were a lot of fish in the sea, but it wasn't enough for him. He couldn't bear it so quickly. He swam toward the mouth, the river. Ah, if I look for prey near the river mouth, Baya won't know because he lived further up the river. Unfortunately, no prey approached approached the mouth of the river. Sura was tired of waiting. Finally, the fi- finally he swam up the river toward the forest. Sura wanted to get back to jungle again. This time he would be careful not to be caught by Baya. He he he! I will catch the prey and immediately bring it out the sea, out to sea. So Baya won't see me. He he he! The plan was successful, and 4 months Sura haunted in the river waiting being discovered. Over time, Baya became suspicious because again his prey was readers. But this time he didn't see Sura on the river, but they believed a deer but didn't catch him right away. Instead, he heard the deer like so how called run away. The deer was placed on the edge on the river, then by height. A short time later, Sura swam up the river and saw the injured deer. He felt excited because the deer was fat. Whoa, lucky me! Today I have a fish. Na na na! Just as he was about to bring the deer to sea, suddenly Baya confronted him. Hey, you sure Sultanbur and Samle Sura? How greedy are you? Imagine, the fish in the sea are abundant, but you are still hunting in my area. Hey Baya, if you want you can hunt in the sea. I don't forbid you. I don't like fish, and I es- ex- especially and especially can't stand the sea water. Well, it's okay. If you don't want it, at least I have offered to you. Surah answered lightly and dragged to deer to the sea. Baya got angry, then attacked Surah. Hey, where do you think you're bringing in the deer? To the sea? I'll eat it there. Bring the deer here. I caught I caught it to trap you. Well, it's your fault. You didn't add the deer yourself. You forgot our adjustment. The river is my territory. Hey, if there water, there is me. This adjustment is ridiculous. Okay, then our adjustment is cancelled. Now the strong one has the right to rule this area. Next. Finally, Baya attacks Sura. A fight couldn't be prevented. This time was even more exciting. No one dared to approach the area of the fight. Aha, here! Grrr. Sura always dodged his attack, and Baya became any any when Sura was off guard. Baya managed to beat his toe. Ouch, my toe! Sura didn't know one to lose. Both of them were in pain and seriously injured. However, Baya didn't know despair. He continued to bite until Sura's tail was cut off. Sura was in so much pain. He ran away, leaving Baya toward the sea. Since then, Sura has not dared to approach the river, and since he no longer had tail, he couldn't swim as hard he once had. Ah, it's so painful. Oh my! To commemorate the fierce fight, the area where the two animals to fought was cancelled, and the name remains to this day. Oke, sekian dari teks naratif The Origin of Surabaya yang saya bacakan. Mohon maaf apabila ada kosakata yang susah didengar atau dimengerti, ya maafkan ya. Oke, itu saja dari saya. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.